Hello everyone, welcome to Students Point. This is 9th of October and we are going to cover all important questions for the day. So pay your attention till the end, and today's video is going to be very important, so be attentive and be focused. And you can get the PDF of all these videos on this group Students Point on the Telegram channel. This is a group for English students, and those who are comfortable in Hindi can join this group as well, Students Point Hindi. This channel is especially for Hindi, and you can also follow us on Instagram by writing the username the Students Point. So let's begin now. And if you are finding this video useful, don't forget to like the video and do share the video with your friends and loved ones. Also don't forget to press the subscribe button and the bell icon to receive the notification at the earliest, so that you never miss any opportunity to learn and grow every day. Now here is a question of the last day. Last day I have seen that majority of you have answered the question incorrect. I think most of you have not read the question correctly. The question was India's highest ranked supercomputer is. So India's highest ranked supercomputer was Pratyush, while India's first supercomputer was Param Sivai, which was built by CDAC, while Param Siddhi Artificial Intelligence was India's largest high performance computing and artificial intelligence supercomputer. So I hope in future you will not confuse between these three names and their distinctions. Now let's see question for the day. Here's the question. Nobel Prize in Physics 2020 has been awarded for the discovery of. So these are the options. Read the options carefully and then answer it in the comment section. The good thing about answering incorrect is that you are answering questions incorrectly here, but it will get an imprint in your mind. It will leave an imprint on your mind, and you will never commit mistakes, especially on this question in the future. And you will also remain alert in similar kind of questions in the future. This will help you in the examination hall as well. Okay, so let's begin. Here is the first question now. The Constitution guarantees the right to protest and express dissent in which article? So Article 19 provides for right to protest and expression of dissent. This is provided under Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause A, which provides freedom of speech and expression. And Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause B provides us the right to assemble peacefully without arms. However, in the same article, Article 19, Clause 2 places certain reasonable restrictions on the rights enjoyed under Article 19, Subclause 1. What are those restrictions? All the rights enjoyed under Article 19(1) are subject to interest of sovereignty of the country, integrity of the country, and public order. So these are the three conditions based on which certain restrictions can be imposed on Article 1, 19(1). Why news? Because Supreme Court has recently said that occupying public places for protests is not acceptable, and such a space cannot be occupied indefinitely. The verdict came on a plea against the CAA protest. CAA protest was ongoing on the roads in Shaheen Bagh, which disrupted the public life. So Supreme Court has said that this cannot be accepted, that you occupy the public spaces indefinitely. Next question now. Stockholm Convention in news recently is related to. So it is related to persistent organic pollutants. So here B is the right answer. What is persistent organic pollutants? These are chemical substances that persist in the environment, bioaccumulate in living organisms, even in the human body, and have the property of long-range environmental transport. And exposure to persistent organic pollutants can lead to cancer, damage to nervous system, diseases of immune system, reproductive disorders, and many other disorders. And the convention listed 12 distinct chemicals. Now they may ask you about these 12 distinct chemicals listed in Stockholm Convention. And these 12 distinct chemicals are categorized into three different categories, which are 8 pesticides, which include aldrine, coldrine, DDT, deldrine, indrine, heptachlor, mirex, toxaphene. Now you don't need to remember all these names, but still you should have a look twice, thrice on these names, because sometimes they tend to ask such questions. And if you will have a look over the names in examinations, your mind will work and you can identify that which of the options are not included into this list. While 2 industrial chemicals, which include polychlorinated biophenols, and hexachlorobenzene are included in the second category. In the third category, two unidentified byproducts of many industrial processes, which include chlorine, and these byproducts are dioxin and furans. These are categorized into the third category. Remember this name, dioxins and furans. And India ratified Stockholm Convention in way back 2006 itself. Now this year is again very important for you. India ratified Stockholm Convention in 2006 itself, but now Union Cabinet has approved ratification of 7 chemicals listed under Stockholm Convention. So Stockholm Convention lists 12 such chemicals, but Union Cabinet has now ratified or approved the ratification of 7 chemicals out of the 12. These 7 chemicals include chloridecone, hexabromobiphenyl, hexabromodiphenyl ether, and heptabromodiphenyl ether, tetrabromodiphenyl ether, pentabromodiphenyl ether, pentachlorobenzene, hexabromocyclododecane, and hexachlorobutadiene. Now the ratification process would enable India to access finance of Global Environment Facility, and the Cabinet further has delegated its power to ratify chemicals under Stockholm Convention to the Union Minister of External Affairs and Minister of Environment with regard to persistent organic pollutants. Next question now. Who has been appointed as the new chairman of country's largest lender, State Bank of India? So Dinesh Kumar Khara has been appointed as the chairman of SBI. So here B is the right answer. He will replace Rajneesh Kumar. He has been appointed for 3 years and the headquarters of SBI is in Mumbai. Now let's have a look on the evolution of SBI. How SBI came to this point. See, in 1806, Bank of Calcutta was established in Calcutta. 3 years later, in 1809, Bank of Calcutta was renamed as Bank of Bengal. And in 1840, another bank was established called as Bank of Bombay. And in 1843, one more bank was established called as Bank of Madras. And later on, these 3 banks, Bank of Calcutta, Bank of Bombay, Bank of Madras, were amalgamated and Imperial Bank of India was created in 1921. And after this, a State Bank of India Act was passed by Government of India in 1955 when RBI has acquired a controlling interest in the Imperial Bank of India. And on 1st of July 1955, the Imperial Bank of India became State Bank of India. Later on, Government of India bought the shares of RBI to remove all the interest or conflicts of interests. Next question now. The Indian Air Force is celebrating which or blank Air Force Day on 8th of October. So Indian Air Force has observed its 88th year of establishment this year 2020. On this day in 1932, Air Force of India was established as Royal Air Force of United Kingdom. And Indian Air Force is the 4th largest air force in the world after US, China and Russia. The headquarters of Indian Air Force is in New Delhi. The motto of Indian Air Force is touch the sky with glory. Now again this question is important here since there are tensions at LAC and the role of Indian Air Force is very crucial to safeguard the borders at LAC. So they may ask you, particularly the PCS level of examination may ask you about the day of celebration, as well as they may ask you even the motto of Indian Air Force. And this motto, touch the sky with glory, has been taken from the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Next question now. Emmanuel Carpentier and Jennifer Doudna, who are the winner of Nobel Chemistry Prize, belongs to Nobel Chemistry Prize 2020, of course. So here, if you don't know the answer, you may apply one common sense. That common sense might not work in every case since it is the age of globalization and one citizen migrate to other country and take the citizenship of another country. But still, in the worst case scenario, you have to guess. Then you can apply this sense that Emmanuel, if you know the name of President of France, he is Emmanuel Macron. Then you can apply the sense that Emmanuel might be the title in French. So Emmanuel here means if it is the title of French, then France would be the one option. So here either the answer would be A or D because France is given in A and D options. Now you have to look at the Jennifer Doudna. And Jennifer Doudna, if you recall, there are some actors who belong to US with name Jennifer, as well as there are some actors with name Jennifer from Brazil. But since here there are no name mentioned as Brazil, but Mexico can be an answer. But since France is not given here, US can be an answer because many people from South America migrate to US to have work there. So even if you don't know the answer, you can have a guess that the answer would be France and US. There was no need for saying so much of things, but still I have tried to give you some idea that how you can approach some questions in your examinations when there are worst case scenario and you have to approach some questions based on guesses. So this is how you can guess some questions. So here the correct answer is D, France and US. And Emmanuel Carpenter of France, Jennifer Doudna of US has won this prize for CRISPR-Cas9 DNA sniping scissors. There was one question in UPSC prelims examination, I think in 2019 or in 2018, about Cas9, that what is Cas9, why Cas9 is in news. So that was a question. Now again, since it has been in news, it can be asked in other PCS level examinations as well. And this is the first time that a Nobel Science Prize has gone to women only team. And Carpentier, who is 51, and MS Doudna, 56, are just the 6th and the 7th women to receive the Nobel Prize in Chemistry. Last day we have seen that only 4 women have received Nobel Prize in Physics, and now there are 7 women who have received Nobel Prize in Chemistry. And using the tool, researchers can change the DNA, that is, they using CRISPR-Cas9, they can change DNA of animals, plants, microorganisms. This can be of great use. It can be used to treat several diseases in plants as well as in animals. But this technology also comes with a serious challenge. As in 2018 in China, scientist called as He Jiankui caused an international scandal when he used CRISPR technology to create what he called the first gene-edited human. Next question now. Consider the following statements about poverty and shared prosperity 2020 reversals of fortune. Let's see, very important question it is. The report has been released by the World Bank. This is correct. And as per this report, global extreme poverty is expected to rise for the first time in 20 years because of the disruptions caused by COVID-19. This is also correct. So China must pay to the world because of the disruption it has caused in the social work which the world was doing at a great extent. And this is a report released biannually by World Bank. So since here both of the statements are correct, so C is the right answer. The pandemic may push another 88 million to 115 million into extreme poverty or having to live on less than $1.50 per day. This will result into a total of 150 million such individuals. And the report also estimates that some 9.1% to 9.4% of the world will be affected by extreme poverty in this year. Now next question. India's first advanced manufacturing hub will be set up in, so it is going to be set up in Tamil Nadu. So here D is the right answer, and it will be jointly set up by World Economic Forum and Tamil Nadu. The hub would help the state Tamil Nadu in sectors of solar energy, electronics, electric mobility and textiles. Next question now. Which of the following is not part of Cotton 4? Now again this question is very important. So Tanzania is not part of Cotton 4 countries. Cotton 4 countries include Benin, Burkina Faso, Chad and Mali. And in context of the celebration of World Cotton Day, I have taken this question. The World Cotton Day, this was the second such day when it was observed on 7th of October. And based on the initiative of Cotton 4, the WTO hosted 7th of October 2019 as the launch day of World Cotton Day in collaboration with secretariats of UNFAO, UNCTAD, International Trade Center and International Cotton Advisory Committee. And if you have found the video useful till now, do like the video and do share the video with your friends and loved ones. It will contribute in the growth of the channel. Okay, so next question now. What is the percentage of organic cotton of the world is produced by India? So India produces more than 50% of the total world's organic cotton. India produces around 51%, and India is the second largest cotton producer and the largest consumer of cotton in the world. Now this data is again very important, that it is the second largest cotton producer as well as the largest consumer, and India produces 23% of the world's cotton while 51% of the total organic cotton. And why it was in news? Because Union Minister of Textiles has launched first ever brand and logo for the Indian cotton on 2nd of World Cotton Day on 7th of October. This is the new logo of this cotton. Now India's premier cotton would be known as Kasturi cotton in the world cotton trade. The Kasturi cotton brand will represent whiteness, brightness, softness, purity, luster, uniqueness and Indianness. Next question now. Consider the following statements about Triskon or Zircon. See, Russia has test fired this hypersonic cruise missile successfully in the White Sea. This is correct. So remember two things here. Three things actually. It has been launched by Russia. It is a hypersonic missile and it is a cruise missile. And it can reach hypersonic speed of more than 8 Mach. That is 8 times the speed of sound. So here again both of the statements are correct, so C is the right answer. Now let's see some more points in news. The appointment committee of cabinet has approved the appointment of RBI senior most executive director M. Rajeswar Rao as deputy governor. He succeeds N.S. Viswanathan, who has stepped down in March 3 months ahead of his extended tenure on health grounds. Next point now. UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has inaugurated a new cryogenic oxygen plant that has been commissioned by INOX Air Products, and this is the biggest plant in the state of UP and will help to supply oxygens in hospitals in the times of COVID-19. So I hope you find the video useful. Do like and do share the video, subscribe and press the bell icon. Wait for the upcoming video. Until then, stay safe and thanks for watching.